Thursday, 9 July 2026. 3 Asia-Pacific AI stories before your first coffee. New York's bond market just priced Amazon's $25 billion debt sale to fund AI data centers, marking the second mega issuance this year with a noticeably cooler order book than its March deal. Morgan Stanley now projects close to $570 billion of new AI-linked debt in 2026, more than double this year's total. The wave runs straight through Asia. SoftBank paid a record 8.5% coupon on 10-year dollar notes to keep its AI spending funded, while Japan's life insurers, sitting on more than $2 trillion in assets, are rotating back toward domestic bonds just as hyperscaler paper floods the market. Why it matters? Asia's capital allocators face a concentration problem that few balance sheets are built to handle. Japanese insurers and regional sovereign funds buying hyperscaler bonds are often the same institutions holding data center project loans and chip equity positions in companies like TSMC and Samsung. If AI revenue growth disappoints even modestly, those three exposures correlate fast. SoftBank's record coupon signals that the market is already charging a premium for AI leverage, and any widening in spreads will hit Asian borrowers harder than their US counterparts, given thinner secondary liquidity. Builders relying on debt-funded infrastructure buildouts should watch the gap between Morgan Stanley's $570 billion 2026 forecast and actual investor appetite, because that spread will set the price of Asian AI compute for the next cycle. So, OpenAI opens GPT 5.6, its Sol, Terra, and Luna model family, worldwide on 9 July after a government-gated preview period, giving Asian enterprises a same-day global launch window that narrows the access lag the region has historically faced. Pricing spans $1 per million input tokens on Luna up to $5 on Sol, placing the new lineup in direct competition with DeepSeek, Alibaba's Qwen, and Google's Gemini across Asia's fastest-growing inference markets. The rollout marks OpenAI's most aggressive push into a region where open-weight alternatives already hold significant developer mindshare. Why it matters? The pricing puts immediate pressure on Asian cloud providers and inference resellers who have built margins around cheaper open-weight models. Developers running production workloads on DeepSeek or Qwen now face a genuine cost-performance comparison rather than defaulting to local alternatives on price alone. Capital allocators should watch whether enterprise contracts in Southeast Asia and India shift toward OpenAI's managed API or stay anchored to open-weight stacks that offer fine-tuning freedom without per-token fees. Asia's open-weight ecosystem, led by Alibaba and the DeepSeek team, gives the region a structural hedge that Europe lacks. So the competitive response from those labs in the next quarter will set the tone for pricing across the entire APAC inference layer. Now, Vietnam's power grid is swinging back to coal as a Middle East conflict squeezes global LNG prices, exposing the fragile energy foundation beneath Southeast Asia's AI data center ambitions. Coal generation hit 16.09 terawatt-hours in March 2026, roughly 56% of total output, up sharply from the cleaner mix Hanoi had been targeting under its Power Development Plan 8. The reversal lands just as hyperscalers and sovereign compute projects are lining up to draw large, constant baseload power from a grid that was already running tight during dry seasons. Why it matters? Every AI data center deal in Vietnam now carries embedded fossil fuel risk that boards, ESG teams, and lenders will have to price. Hyperscalers marketing green cloud regions face reputational exposure when the marginal electron is coal-fired, and power purchase agreements pegged to renewables become harder to back with physical generation. Builders scouting sites in Ho Chi Minh City or Hanoi corridor should expect longer grid connection timelines and possible curtailment clauses as utilities prioritize residential and industrial load. The second-order effect worth tracking is whether this energy bottleneck redirects sovereign compute capital toward neighbors with cleaner surplus capacity, particularly Malaysia and the Philippines, fragmenting what was shaping up to be a concentrated Southeast Asian AI infrastructure corridor. That is your AI in Asia briefing for today. Stay sharp, build well, see you tomorrow.